Hello and welcome back to Tottenham Logic TV. As you can tell by the thumbnail and the title, are you afraid to support Tottenham nowadays? And let me explain what I mean by this. Let's start with why you supported Spurs in the first place. Unless you started supporting Spurs in the early 60s or the early 80s, or quite recently in the Poch era between 2014 and 2018, then you wasn't really supporting Spurs because we win trophies every season. I understand we didn't win trophies under Poch, but that's the closest we've came in recent times. And no matter what era you started supporting Spurs, you wasn't supporting them because they won league titles either. We've only won 2 league titles in our whole history, and the most recent one was 1961. So what are the other possible reasons why you could be supporting Spurs? Maybe because before the horrendous run we've had with not winning trophies, Spurs were seen as a cup side. Maybe that tickled your fancy. There was a time when Spurs fans used to get excited by the year ending in 1, as that seemed to be lucky for us. You remember 1931, 1961, 1981, 1991 off the top of my head. It didn't matter how bad the team was. We always had that special player that could turn a game on its head, special player or two that could turn the game on its head. So it always gave us that hope that we could win games. Maybe it's the history of the 8 FA Cup wins, the 4 League Cup wins, the 2 European trophies that we've won, and the hope that this Spurs team can bring back the glory days. Maybe it was the style of play that attracted you to supporting Spurs. Maybe it was the to dare to do as approach. Maybe it was the flair players expressing themselves in front foot football. Maybe it was because your mum, your dad, your granddad, or whoever in your family, you grew up listening to them, cheering for every goal and seeing the happiness on their face when Spurs won against the odds. You wanted to be a part of that joy, maybe. You wanted to be a part of that joy with the people that you love. Maybe it's because you're not a glory hunter. Maybe you like the thought that an underdog can win. Maybe no matter how many people said they couldn't, this underdog came from below and rose to the top. Maybe you support Spurs because of a certain player, like there's many South Koreans now that support Spurs because of Sonny. Maybe you're a new fan and you support the club because of the huge potential this club could have. Whatever the reasons are, I feel there are some people out there that are just trying to suck the joy out of supporting Spurs. I started supporting Spurs for nearly all these reasons that I just mentioned. I used to defend my club. We used to finish 15th and 14th in the league. And I would still say I'm proud to be a Spurs fan because that's who I am. When I was younger, I had people say to me, "Oh, just support Man United like me. We win the league every year." And my answer was simple. I'm not a glory hunter, and I'm loyal to my team through the bad as well as the good. My head couldn't even be turned at a young age. My team would get battered and we would lose 7-1, and I would get stick from all my mates. I would take it on the chin in the hope that one day we can be better and one day we can win a trophy again. I used to go into the pub after a massive defeat and put my Tottenham shirt on and wear it as a badge of honor and stick my fingers up to all the people that would take the piss out of me. And people would literally come up to me and say, well done. You didn't hide. You came out and said, fuck it, I still support Spurs. I support them more when they're down than I do when they're winning, which is strange. The hope is now, in my opinion, being replaced with facts. And we are now, in my opinion, not allowed to support Spurs when they lose. We are now not allowed to speak highly of a performance. We can't support a manager through a bad period anymore. We can't back our players when they're low in confidence. All because we are in fear of social media telling us that we are happy clappers, we have fake positivity, and we're deluded. What happened to taking defeats on the chin? What happened to still believing we can have a good season or still believing we can win a trophy? What happened to the hope? The hope is being taken away. What happened to the enjoyment of winning 5 games in a row without someone telling us that it's not good enough unless we beat better teams? Are you now afraid to say something positive online about the team you love? Is the joy being sucked out of supporting Spurs now? I'm not afraid to say I love my club. I'm not afraid to back them when things ain't going well. And I ain't afraid to finding positives in a defeat because I am Spurs and that will never change. Imagine having a huge following of people agree with you that your club is shit. I would rather have 0 subscribers than have that mindset. Let me know in the comments. Are you afraid to support Spurs? Is the joy being sucked out of it? We now have a manager that understands Spurs, understands who we are, where we were from, but has the belief that he can take us on to another level. I am 100% backing this guy to bring us the glory days back, and I still have the hope, and I will still back this guy through bad periods. Let me know in the comments what you think of today's video, and as always, and will always say, come on you Spurs.